Hi, this is Ananya Kalbavi, and you're listening to Work for a Cause by Project Namma Bhoomi. So, I recently visited Namma Bhoomi to get in conversation with the organizing head, that's Mr. Shivanan Shetty. And he very beautifully translated the unconventional academic structure that they follow at Namma Bhoomi. So, to start with, Namma Bhoomi is a school that is set up about roughly 45 kilometers along the coast from Manipal. It's in a town called Kundapura, and it's nestled in an interior and secluded area at the foothills of the Western Ghats. It's away from the general hustle of the town, and it's spread. It's a huge property. It's spread across 18 acres of land. So this property essentially consists of two parts. That is, they have their residential area and they have the school. School is called Nalanda, and this is where all the primary and vocational training takes place. The whole landscape that they have is surrounded by vegetative plants and consists of dairy, which is all of these are like maintained by the children of Namma Bhoomi. So basically, Namma Bhoomi thrives on the principle of independent participation in every activity involved in the functioning of their environment, which gives the children a sense of ownership and therefore like responsibility over the space. Okay, so the main focus of my conversation with Mr. Shivanan Shetty was that of the academic structure that existed in Namma Bhoomi. So we spoke about how it diverges from what a student such as I am exposed to. So Mr. Shetty elaborated on 5 elements that comprise of their academic structure. So these 5 elements are formal, fundamental, empowerment, developmental, and essential. Their academic structure can be split apart into 5 different elements. The first is the formal education, and they follow the NIOS system. So they have people from government institutions coming over to their schools and teaching them like literature and teaching them subjects like English, teaching them Kannada, Hindi, teaching them social science and all of the regular subjects that a person such as you or I would have learnt in our primary schooling. The second part that they focus on is development. So under development, they talk about physical development. That is, what do they do to be physically active and healthy? They engage in a variety of sports. They play volleyball, they play football, they have martial arts, they have yoga every morning, they have dances. So all of this falls under the developmental category. The next is the fundamental element. So they have their formal education and they pay equal importance to the fundamental part, which involves vocational training. So these people, as part of their syllabus, also have courses like garment stitching, pottery, grooming, plumbing and electricals, all things that are very relevant to their local reality and also gives them the skills to graduate as entrepreneurs themselves. The next element that they have is empowerment, and under empowerment we'll be talking about a system of governance that is formed by children, and it's called the Makkala Panchayat, which I will be talking about later on in this podcast. The final element is called essentials. So this is what Mr. Shivanan Shetty gives most importance to, and he talks about performing activities like cooking, cleaning, agriculture, dairy farming, all kinds of activities that are very, very essential for the running of the property, for the running of Namma Bhoomi itself. So these are the 5 elements that comprises of their academic structure. Now, I've engaged in volunteering services before, and there are a lot of volunteering services even in Manipal. You have VSO, you have Rotaract, you have ISTE, and I was part of ISEC. And in ISEC, it was really funny because they believed that they were empowering children by teaching them spoken English and like how to make paper boats. It is a very common misconception to assume that underprivileged are not progressive and therefore need to be trained to fall under the realm of like modern societal culture. And Namma Bhoomi is such a great reflection of how regressive our current education system is towards personal, physical and mental growth. So yeah, we're basically talking about a system that touches upon 5 elements of growth while we are only exposed to the first one. So yeah, the course commences with the primary objective of breaking down all existing stereotypes that lead to discrimination. So all students are gathered together before each academic year to address various social issues and topics to set their expectations for their experience at Namma Bhoomi. These involve like an induction for the Makkala Panchayat. They also provide sex education right at the start. They talk about their daily routine, and they talk about the NIOS structure. All festivals across all religions are celebrated on campus, and the students identify themselves with Namma Bhoomi collectively over, say, their caste or gender segmentation. When we talk about education at Namma Bhoomi, every experience counts as an academic experience. That of agricultural participation, that of cooking, that of cleaning, to provide for themselves, that of literature and vocational training such as electricals and plumbing as mentioned, and most importantly, that of recognizing themselves as responsible individuals coming together to form a system of governments to overlook every procedure that takes place on site. So I'll talk about the Makkala Panchayat right now. The Makkala Panchayat is formed by a group of children elected by their peers to ensure a smooth flow of events on campus, to take important decisions for the benefit of everyone, that is to curate guidelines that everyone is expected to follow, even to design meals and like timetable schedules, and to resolve conflicts. Mr. Shetty talks about how the youth are recognized globally as the future and the voice of the nation, and all around the world, the voices of the children are neglected. Children are excused from holding any position of responsibility, which is why Mr. Shetty thinks one of the grave problems our country faces today is the lack of participation of youth in matters of governance, either at home or relating to the nation. He talks about how everything is spoon-fed to the child, and therefore it comes as no surprise when they are found to be lost at the face of responsibility. Namma Bhoomi effectively changes this mentality by enabling and encouraging children to participate in all the workings of the site and constantly subjecting them to consequences of their action. And we call ourselves progressive. Finally, identifying a fundamental flaw in our education system, Mr. Shivanand Shetty talks about how there is no link between formal education and life. We sit in our classrooms and read literature about places and facets that are far away from us without paying importance to what is relevant and present right in front of us. Highlighting on this, he says that everything that we learn is theoretical, impractical, and most times irrelevant to our development. To quote something that struck me specifically, Mr. Shetty says that it's really sad to see that we are recognized as the largest democracy when there is absolutely no democracy in our education system. He calls the system a production house over an institution of learning. One that produces civil engineers like himself, where there is no connect between his profession, his passion, and his personal life. I think that Namma Bhoomi was a real eye-opener for me and has made me realize that I need to sit down and relook my definition of progress, of education, and of responsibility. Something that I'm going to sit down and think about now, and hope that every listener does the same.